Hey everyone, this is PM Sport Talk, the father and son duo podcast. I'm your host Preston, alongside my father Mike and Dad. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well. What a great weekend of sports. I can't wait to get into it.
Let's get into it. We start off here with college football. And Dad, after a big week of championships, the college football playoffs is released.
And with a little bit of controversy.
Number 1, we've got Michigan, the 13-0 Wolverines. Number 2, we got Washington, the 13-0 Huskies. Number 3, we got Texas, 12-1. Big 12 champions. And here's where the controversy comes in. The 12-1 SEC champions. Alabama comes in at number 4. Florida State, 13-0 ACC championship, bounces down to 5.
I didn't expect that. I really thought Florida State was winning in, and committee didn't think so. They downgraded them because of the quarterback, and they put in Alabama.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous that they put that into consideration.
Yeah.
Jordan Travis, I mean, Tate Rodemaker didn't play that bad. And if Jordan Travis is that valuable to this Florida State team, then give him the Heisman. Give him the Heisman right now if he is that valuable that they can't be in the playoffs as a 13-0 undefeated team.
Yeah.
And they won their division. Ridiculous.
I don't know what else you want them to do. 13-0.
They can't do anything else. I mean, Tate Rodemaker is the guy playing, not the third-string quarterback, the true freshman. It's Tate Rodemaker.
Yeah. They're going off of this game where it was the freshman. Well, he's not going to be playing in the college football playoff. Rodemaker, the backup, is going to be playing.
He only has a concussion.
Yeah, he's going to be cleared. If this game was to take place this weekend, he probably would have played.
Probably. But it would help him more because they play on New Year's Day.
He has a whole month to get better. He's going to play. So that whole argument, I hear a lot of sport people talking, commentators, a freshman only threw for 55 yards. He can't play. Well, he's not going to play.
He's going to be the backup.
Right.
What are you talking about?
So that argument goes right out the window. So you can't take that argument away.
It's ridiculous.
It's plain and simple what happened here. They didn't want the SEC champion not in this. So they put him in, and they took out the ACC champion. Well, the SEC rules college football. You know, that was the less of two evils, let's just say, for the college football playoff. They figured they'd get less pushback if they left Florida State out instead of leaving Alabama out. So that's what they did.
Yeah, clearly it didn't work because they're getting a lot of pushback from leaving the 13-0 ACC champions out of this playoff. Florida State should have been in there. And people were saying, don't put them in there. They're going to get mauled by Michigan. No, they're not. Okay, you can look at the offense. They may not have the quarterback there. But they have a great defense. They have one of the best defensive players in the country entering the draft, Jared Verse, one of the best edge rushers. And that defense, they have one of the best pass defenses in the game.
They gave up 6 points to Louisville. Louisville couldn't move the ball at all.
And Louisville is one of those teams that have been able to score.
They just put 31 up on an SEC team, Kentucky, the week before.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think they would have lost to Michigan? I do. But I think the game would have been fairly close. Michigan probably would have pulled away at the end because that's what they do. They run the ball and wear you out. But I have no doubt that Florida State team would have hung in there and kept that game close. It would have been a 24-17 type game, something like that. And yeah, this business, everybody kept saying, if they put Florida State in, they're going to get beat by 50 points. I don't know.
They're not.
I don't know what they've been watching.
No, they're not. Like me and you discussed just now, their defense is one of the best in the country. So I don't know.
Yeah,
and
they didn't lose their best player on defense. They lost their best player on offense.
Right after that selection show was made, they interviewed the committee, and he said, this team is a much more different team than without Jordan Travis. Do you know how insulting that is to this Florida State team? All those kids that worked their butt off, and they can't make it in the playoffs because of their quarterback situation. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's bad. I understand they were going to leave a good team out no matter what they did, but how do you leave an undefeated Power 5 team out? Champion team, wire to wire. They started out beating an SEC team their first game of the year.
They beat LSU. If they're going to discuss ACC, let's look who they beat. They beat LSU And they beat Florida with Tate Rodemaker.
Right. They already beat an SEC team with their backup quarterback.
It's ridiculous. And it was an away game, too, for them.
Right. And that was his first game starting.
First game starting in the swamp. It doesn't get much more difficult than that, and they were able to win.
Yeah, I mean, he was going to have a whole month to prepare for Michigan and get all the first-team reps and all that stuff. And, they can say what they want. They want Alabama in there, and that's what they did.
They're going to take all their frustration out on Georgia, I guarantee it.
And they had to put Texas in there because they wanted Alabama. They could not put Alabama and not Texas because Texas beat Alabama.
And they're the champions.
So they had, if they were going to put Alabama in there, Texas had to go too. And I really think Texas was more deserving than Alabama. But they couldn't have, I'm just saying they couldn't put Alabama in there and Florida State and leave Texas out. They couldn't do that. So by putting Alabama in, you had to take Alabama. If Alabama was going to be in this, it was going to be a package deal with Texas. So that left Florida State out. I agree with you. Florida State was more deserving than Alabama. Is Alabama a better team right now than Florida State? Yeah.
That doesn't matter, though. I mean, it plays a part, but it shouldn't play that big of a part to leave a 13-0 Power 5 champion out of the playoffs.
See, what the committee made a mistake at is, if that's how they felt, then 2 weeks ago they should have dropped Florida State down.
Yeah.
They left them in there at, 3 or 4?
Mm-hmm.
They at first they had Washington at 4 and them at 3. So if that's how they felt, then they should have been at 5 and Alabama should have been at 4, or Texas should have been at 4.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point.
They didn't do that. They left them in there, and all they did was win, and they got dropped out. Makes no sense.
Rodemaker, I'll say he didn't, when he came in against Eastern Alabama, was it? Western Alabama, something like that, when the game Travis got hurt in.
Yeah.
They were trailing in that game, and he brought him back. Trailing 13-0.
Yeah, 13-0. He brought him back. They won, 52?
They won. They blew him out.
Blew him out the rest of the way.
Then they beat Florida. And then a freshman quarterback only passed for 55 yards. That's expected, but he's not going to play. So
Right.
In the game, so what does that matter?
It doesn't. He's not playing unless Rodemaker gets hurt, and you can say that about any of the teams. If Michigan's quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, gets hurt, well, they're not going to be a good team either, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't go off that premise that the freshman might play. He's not going to play. He's only going to play if Rodemaker gets hurt in that actual game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that you can't say that.
It's just terrible.
I've heard the other side of the argument saying, well, the committee's job wasn't to put the most deserving teams in, it was to put the best 4 teams in. If you go by that, well, I guess you can say that maybe Alabama deserves it over Florida State.
I get it. I get it.
I just don't know how you leave a 13-0 team out.
I don't know that either. But it was a mistake to say that for the committee. It seemed that their reasoning was because Travis got hurt. Because they said that the committee said that the general of it or whatever said that they are a much different team without Jordan Travis, and that's just not fair to them.
Not fair. I mean, he's right in a way. They are different, but
he meant something.
That's what he meant.
We all knew what he meant.
I mean, he basically told you right there that because Travis wasn't playing, that they're not worthy of being in there. Is what he's saying.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are saying too. They're totally discounting this whole team. Are they as good without Travis? Obviously not. They went from a great team to a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Is what happened.
And they still went undefeated.
Yep.
They still won their conference. So they should be in there. I'm just going to leave it at that. They should be in there. It's ridiculous how they weren't in there. It's ridiculous how much this committee is biased towards the SEC teams. It's ridiculous.
And I've heard it. We heard it on the way here, and I heard it on multiple other places. If Deion Sanders was the coach of Florida State,
they would not be left out.
They would not have been left out.
No question.
So the quarterback wouldn't have come into play then, right?
No.
Because Florida State with Deion Sanders is a ratings goldmine.
It's ridiculous.
So they would have been in. Just like Alabama with Nick Saban is a ratings goldmine.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to it. Quite that's why next year you're going to have the 12-team playoff, and we won't have this issue of undefeated teams not being in ever, because you're never going to have 13 undefeated teams.
I think Florida State's the first undefeated. They got to be one of the first undefeated conference winner or something to not make it. They are. Like that.
They are. I don't think they've ever left an undefeated team out. There usually isn't this many undefeated teams going this late into the season.
There's 3.
I mean, there was 4 with Georgia, but
so every undefeated team should be in there. I mean, no matter what the circumstances. I would get it if Rodemaker was out for this game, then sure. Yeah.
Right, if he was done for the season and it was just a freshman,
that comes to play. But you have Rodemaker, and he's playing in that game if you put him in.
Yeah, and he's played last year. He played a few games last year and did very good. He played a whole game against Louisville last year and was excellent. So it's not like he doesn't have experience.
It's ridiculous.
So, yeah, it's not.
It's just stupid. Let's put it at that. It's stupid how they can't consider that Florida State's a contender even with Travis out.
Yeah, it's Travis. I feel bad for that team. I mean, they did everything they were asked to do, and they still got left out. It's
a sad day for college football, as their coach said, Mike Norvell.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Alabama's won 1 million championships. Wouldn't have been a big deal if they weren't in this one.
Yeah, could have easily left them out. We're gonna move on to a little bit of a discussion here. We got the playoff matchups. We got Bama versus Michigan. We got Texas versus Washington. We could probably go over that. Do you want to?
Well, it's got the Bama-Michigan is the highlight. That's at the Rose Bowl, the big granddaddy of them all.
Oh yeah, the Rose Bowl.
That'll be the first game at 5, and then Texas and Washington will be the Sugar Bowl game after that at 8:45. The only thing I don't like about these games is they're on New Year's Day. I know you don't have school the next day, but most people have to work the next day.
Yeah.
So that second game, which I think is going to be a great game, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay up to watch that. I'm going to have to force myself, but it's going to be a tough one.
Oh, yeah. What time does it start at? 8, 9?
8:45, so basically 9 o'clock. And that game won't be over till
midnight.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
On the East Coast. But
who can forget last year's game when Ohio State and Georgia, that kick
midnight, yeah.
Right when the clock struck midnight, he missed.
Yeah. It was right at New Year's Eve. We're trying to have all our New Year's Eve celebrations and keep an eye on the game at the same time, and it happened right at the same time.
I didn't go in that ball drop room, and I kind of wish I did. But let's hope these games. Last year's games did not disappoint one bit. I mean, Michigan TCU was a great high-scoring game. Say the same for Ohio State Georgia. Ohio State Georgia was a little closer, but
yeah, the Michigan game wasn't close at first, but it got close, and then TCU pulled away, right?
Yes.
So, but it did get close. Did get interesting.
I think it came down to
Michigan had a chance to. I think they were down 8.
Yeah, they had a chance to tie on the last drive, and then they got screwed. I'd say, even as an Ohio State fan, with that no targeting.
Yeah, they got screwed quite a few times in that game. Mm-hmm. If you remember the very first touchdown. Remember that?
Oh, Roman Wilson, and then they didn't score, right?
Yeah, and they didn't get a point. But anyway, hopefully they make up for it this year. But yeah, those are going to be 2 great games. I don't want to pick a winner yet, but I think most people. I think most people are going to say Alabama and Michigan is kind of 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
And that Texas-Washington game, that's another tough one. I'm going to lean towards Texas, but I could see it going either way.
Yeah, these games are very close. I think they'll be very entertaining, and we can make our predictions later on. So, last thing we can touch about in college football is the Heisman race.
This weekend, yep.
The 4 finalists announced.
After the Army-Navy game.
Jayden Daniels.
Salute to our servicemen.
Yes. How can we forget that? The Army-Navy game, one of the biggest games.
It doesn't mean anything in the college football playoff realm, but it's still a pretty big. I like watching it. Those guys get up for that game. Those servicemen get so pumped up for that game, and it means everything to those 2 academies. And
that's what it matters, right?
It's great.
It's for the servicemen.
I love watching. It's a different kind of game too, because they don't play conventional offenses usually, and it's just different.
It's usually a defensive game every single year.
They play old style where they're mainly running and wishbone and all that stuff. It's interesting. I like it.
So we will see that game, and now the Heisman finalists. Jayden Daniels, of course, the favorite. Bo Nix. Michael Penix Jr.
It's a two-man race now.
Michael Penix Jr. and Marvin Harrison Jr. are the four official finalists. Who do you say the two are? It's Daniels and
Penix. It's Penix and Daniels.
Oh, I thought you said Penix.
No, I didn't say he's the winner. I said they're the.
Yeah,
it's down to those two.
Daniels. It's gotta go to Daniels, right? I mean, even
if I had a vote, it would be Daniels.
Yeah.
But I've heard some people say that have had votes that are on sports radio have said that Penix having an undefeated, being the leader of an undefeated team carries a lot of weight. Even though he doesn't have quite as good of statistics as Daniels, they're going off, well, he's a 13-0 and a number 2 ranked team in the country, whereas Daniels, their team lost 3 games. I don't think it should. I understand that to a point, but Daniels' stats are so good. I don't see how
he can't win.
He can't win it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like Daniels, over 5,000 passing yards. I'm sure he's got over
he's got 40-some touchdowns.
How much rushing yards do you think he got?
I'm gonna guess it's around 1,000, isn't it?
Do you think he's got over 1,000?
I think he does have over 1,000.
He should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, ridiculous stats. I mean, you think of like guys like Lamar Jackson rushing for 1,000 yards. He's passing for 5,000 yards at the same time.
And Jackson won the Heisman, and his team wasn't that good either.
Yeah,
they were okay. They had but they had 2 or 3 losses.
I mean, he went to Louisville, so
yeah, they were a decent team, but they weren't.
They aren't like one of the. Louisville is not like put on the map. Like they aren't like one of those teams you look at as like you watch college football. Oh, I'm gonna watch Louisville today. But LSU has a good history.
LSU, and that's SEC country, obviously LSU, and that the writers from that area. They're all voting for him. So I think Daniels is going to win it, but I think it's going to be pretty close. So usually the Heisman, it's kind of one guy is quite a bit better than everybody else, where this one's a little bit closer, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be Daniels. Just because you said because of his stats. Penix
really helped himself in that championship game, though. He was awesome in that.
He was awesome. He really bounced back too after he's had turnover issues these past couple of games. That championship game, he really stood out for that Washington team.
Yeah, so I think I'll be surprised if Daniels doesn't win it, but I wouldn't be shocked if Penix won it. I wouldn't be shocked, but I think it's Daniels to lose though.
All right. So we got our Heisman predictions. Of course, both of us are going to say Jayden Daniels. He's the favorite. So, one more thing I want to touch on with college football, then we can go to the NFL. But what are your thoughts? I mean, there are so much players entering the transfer portal this year.
I don't know if it's because of what's his name from Ohio State?
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord entered the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's leaving because he has a chance to get more NIL money somewhere, or if he's leaving because they have I don't know who they must have an up-and-coming quarterback that's going to take his place or something.
Well, the thing is, Ryan Day has said, I saw this report the other day. Ryan Day apparently had a sit-down. McCord, his father, said the starting spot won't be guaranteed to him because they're going to go after a transfer portal guy.
Ah, I see. I wonder who that could be.
Many people, including myself, are really in on Cameron Ward from Washington State.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's definitely the favorite right now to be Ohio State's quarterback.
There's another one, not for Ohio State, but the Duke quarterback.
Riley Leonard.
He's rumored to go to Notre Dame. He's really good. I don't know, as long as he's over his injury, he's really good.
He just needs to stay healthy, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I could see that. McCord, I mean, I just don't think he's not quite what they're looking for at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
He's just he's okay, but I think they're looking for a more explosive guy.
Ward has experience, and
I think they want somebody that can threaten with the run, and he can't do that.
And Ward can.
Yeah.
But he's like, I guess they're looking for Ward as like one of those one and done guys who can get the freshman QBs that are coming in, Aaron Noland, and I forget the other guy's name, but those guys are going to be coming in, and I guess they want a one and done quarterback that they can learn from.
Yeah, I mean, plus catch lightning in a bottle too, and go for a champ. I mean, Ohio State's always going to be going for a championship, but because the rest of their team is so good. But yeah, I think they just want McCord is what I would call more of an NFL quarterback in a way because he's more of a pocket guy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas college football, you really need a guy that can do both.
Yeah.
To be really successful.
So I have. Did you hear who else entered the transfer portal today?
Who's that?
Dylan Gabriel.
I did hear that. Yes, I forgot about it though. Yeah, that's a.
I didn't think he would leave. Did you?
No, to be honest with you, I didn't know he had any more eligibility left.
I didn't think so either.
I thought he'd already played for like 5 years, but I could be wrong on that. But
So
he might have got redshirted. He must have.
Apparently, Oregon and USC are the two favorites right now to land him.
Another Oklahoma quarterback going to USC?
Possibly. So we're gonna move on from that. Just quick little touch on transfer portal as it's becoming a big thing in college football. So we now move on to the NFL, and let's talk.
What a weekend.
Let's talk. We got the. Start off with Steelers and Cardinals.
Do we have to?
Oh, yeah, we got it.
Why are we talking about this?
Kenny Pickett. Of course we have to talk about it. He got hurt.
Of course he did. What? I don't know what word you can better describe it than just debacle. A debacle in Pittsburgh. It was the weirdest game ever. You had 2 weather delays. Game didn't get over till 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
I don't know. Steelers were just, they moved the ball, their first possession, went right down the field. Big pass plays from Pickett to Pickens. Went right down, got to the 10-yard line, and once again stalled. Had to kick a field goal. Couldn't get a touchdown. And then the game, Cardinals getting the field goal tie at 3-3. And the game was kind of like 3-3 for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of defensive.
Then we get in the red zone, and Pickett goes down with an injury on a run.
Yeah. Third and goal from like the 4-yard line, and he gets to the 1-yard line, and the defender falls on his ankle or whatever. And it didn't look that serious when he went down, but then when you see him, he couldn't get up. He could barely walk. And ends up having surgery, so he's out for at least a couple weeks, maybe 3.
That leaves Trubisky and Rudolph.
So now Trubisky's the starting quarterback. I mean, the Steelers lose the game 24-10 to the 2-10 Cardinals of all teams.
Mm-hmm. And James Conner's homecoming played a big part in that.
Yes, he fired that team up, had them ready to go. Not to mention we lost our best linebacker again, Landon Roberts. He was out with a groin. I have a pretty good feeling he's probably not playing the next game.
Nope, probably not.
Minkah Fitzpatrick just comes back, breaks his hand, plays the whole second half with a broken left hand, says he's going to play Thursday with a broken hand. So I don't know if maybe it's just a small bone in there. I'm going to assume. But he says he's playing Thursday. So, I mean, I guess he's okay.
I guess we'll see how that goes.
But just a horrible loss for the Steelers. They had a chance to go 8-4, distance themselves for that number 1 wild card spot, and they're right back into the mud with everybody else now.
And you got to get a win against the 2-10 Patriots,
which I have a feeling is going to be hard because the Patriots, even though they're 2-10,
the offense has struggles. You always got their defense.
Their defense has given up the last 3 games. 10, 7, and 6 points. That's it. And they've lost all 3 games. That just goes to show you how bad their offense is. But Steelers' offense is bad. So I don't know what to expect in this game. Who knows? This could be a 6-3 game.
I pray for everyone who's not a fan of either of those teams to watch on Thursday. I pray for everyone who watches that Thursday night game.
It's going to be hard. We're Steelers fans, but that's going to be a brutal game.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Going to have to stick through it, I guess.
Yep. Hopefully Mitch can find some of his magic from his couple good years he had in Chicago. And, I was looking at his stats, yesterday. I had a little bit of time. His stats in Chicago really aren't that bad.
No, I don't know what's happening with him in Pittsburgh.
He really had he had 1 year where he wasn't good. But he had a couple years where he had 1 year where he had 24 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
Yeah, his sophomore year was good.
Even the last year he played there, he had 16 touchdowns and just 7 interceptions and had a decent completion percentage and all that. If you think about it, just to get off the Steelers for a minute, if Chicago would have kept him, they would have been way better off than when they are with Fields. You know that?
Yeah. I mean,
But I understand why they moved on. It just wasn't, it just didn't seem like it was working. But he really wasn't that bad. And his one-loss record was good. He won games.
yeah.
So that's me looking at his stats, trying to get a little hope for this coming game.
And somehow, if you look, he got benched in week 4 last year, correct, against the Jets. So
Yes.
he won week 1 narrowly because of a long snapper issue with the Bengals.
Yeah.
Who did we play? We lost week 2 against New England. Week 3.
We lost to Cleveland, too.
Yeah, so he has a 1-2 record as a starter.
No,
with us.
but then he won against Carolina late in the year.
Right.
He played really good.
2-2.
So he was 2-2 as a starter.
I completely forgot that Pickett was hurt that game.
Yeah, so he was 2-2 last year. So I'm hoping because he has all week to prepare that he can have a decent enough game to get the win. That's all you can hope for.
Yeah.
It's going to be ugly, but let's just get a win and move on.
We'll see. Next game, I want to hold off on the Eagles Niners game. We'll save that for last.
All right.
We got another pretty good game on Sunday night. Jordan Love and the Packers defeat the Kansas City Chiefs.
That was a great game if you don't like the Chiefs, which
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I don't like him either.
I was glad to see them get beat. Jordan Love,
Balled out.
he's starting to look like he might work out there, huh? He's starting to look really good.
I'm saying, Love and Purdy had their struggles, correct? So they had their struggles, but those two guys, I would compare them because they're two young, developing NFL quarterbacks. They're starting to silence their haters a little bit.
They are. It's so funny how things change so much in an NFL season. It wasn't that long ago that we were all just like 4 or 5 games. We're all saying it doesn't look like Love's the guy. That's what we were saying. And then he played against Pittsburgh. He played pretty good. And then he played on Thanksgiving against Detroit. Looked good.
Mm-hmm.
And then his best game
Was this game
against Kansas City. All 3 of those teams have one thing in common. They have good defenses, and he played good. Yeah, I like what I see from him. I think they might be set at quarterback there because he's tall. He can see the defenses.
Yeah.
He can move,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a good arm. The biggest thing with him was his accuracy, and that's getting better, and his decision-making. And I like what I see from him. I think Green Bay may have done it again. They may have found themselves a quarterback once again.
I think so as well. Love played phenomenal. There's a point in that fourth or second half. I can't remember if it was just the fourth or whatever, but he was like 100% passing in the second half for a long amount of time.
Yeah, he did really well. He had like 3 or 4 touchdowns in that game, passing touchdowns.
Christian Watson's finally looking like himself again as well.
Yeah, I think that's might be part of why Love's starting to look better. Watson's getting healthy again.
Dobbs is there.
Dobbs is there.
Who else they got? They got a bunch of great rookie receivers. Jayden Reed.
Yes.
And then you got Wicks when you need them.
And I don't know why all of a sudden, but A.J. Dillon looks really good.
And they also got a solid tight end game. You got Tucker Kraft.
Yep.
He's been playing good. He's been a good red zone target.
Yeah, I like what I see from Green Bay. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I'll give them a shot against somebody,
Yeah.
They probably won't win, but I'll give them a shot for a competitive game in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. They should be able to put up and that defense is playing a little bit better, too.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah, so I like what I see from the Packers.
I
love seeing the Chiefs get beat. That just made my day. After watching the Steelers get humiliated, at least I was able to watch the Chiefs lose Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, that really made up for it. I love seeing, ironically, no pun intended, I love seeing Jordan Love succeed because I really liked him. I liked him when Rodgers left because I kind of am able to finally, I didn't like Green Bay when Rodgers was there.
I don't like Rodgers. He's too arrogant, but yeah.
Yeah, but now that they have a young team, they're kind of more likable.
They're a lot more likable, and it's good for the NFL, too, because there's nothing better than a game at Lambeau Field.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I was watching the game on my phone because I was doing whatever on my TV, and that game, I mean, my phone was hurting my ears because of how loud that crowd was. Through the TV, you could barely hear what Tirico and Collinsworth were saying.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. If I have anything on my bucket list, it's to go to a game in Lambeau Field someday. I'd love to do that. That's it. That place is awesome. You see just outside of the stadium, what goes on there. They have the slide that goes down through the downtown area. That's just looks like a great place to go watch a football game and have fun.
Gonna have to order our Jordan Love jerseys and go to Green Bay.
We'll see if next time the Steelers play in Lambeau, whenever that might be. That could be 10 years from now, but who knows. But I'd love to go to that game.
Yeah, we will see how Green Bay finishes off their season. I think they will make the playoffs. They have that spot they took over Seattle, correct? Or is Seattle still in? I think Seattle's in the hunt.
They're in the hunt. I think Green Bay and the Rams are in now. So, but that's going to go down to the wire. A lot could change.
Time for the big game. The Eagles and the Niners.
Big game that wasn't.
That Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo Samuel had the biggest back up your talk game.
He did.
He backed it up well. He had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was great in the game. I don't know what else you can say about that guy. He can do anything. He can play running back, play receiver, probably play tight end. I don't know. He's just all over the field. And he's a very physical guy. And I think you're lulled to sleep by how fast he is.
Mm-hmm.
He is fast. You wouldn't think that body would be that fast, but it is. He's got everything. That guy. He's just. You can see when he was hurt, they lost the 3 games he didn't play. They didn't play good. They lost them.
Yeah, and Purdy, on the other hand, has taken the MVP favorite, and I'm not so sure about that. I mean, the bias is getting to him because of San Francisco, but are we really going to give a guy that throws bubble screens and quick slants the MVP and relies on that yards after catch? Or are they just going to rely on base stats and say, yeah?
Unless somebody else comes up and takes it. He's right there. I mean,
I'm going to say something. I think Tyreek Hill's odds should be a lot more higher. He is the best player on his team. Purdy isn't. Tyreek just looks unstoppable. I can't name a game that he's had a bad game yet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it almost always goes to a quarterback.
Yeah, but, I mean.
Maybe this is the year it won't. I don't know.
If Hill gets to 2,000 receiving yards, I think he has a real shot of winning MVP.
And if Miami can somehow get the number 1 seed, that would really help him too.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to the game, I knew it was going to happen sooner or later because Philadelphia's been playing all these hard games.
Yeah, that's what led to me picking Niners last week.
But man, did they get shellacked?
Oh, they got whacked. I mean,
did not see that coming. Not at all.
You were watching the game more than me. I come downstairs. I heard about it from a friend, actually. So, Dre Greenlaw and that security guard seems to be one of the biggest things that's roaming around in that game.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. The game was still close then. Greenlaw, I forget what happened. He body slammed Devontae Smith. And the head of security for the Eagles just happened to be right at the sideline, or somehow he got into it with Dre Greenlaw. And
Greenlaw stuck his finger in his face.
Greenlaw made contact with him with kind of somewhat of a closed fist. He didn't hit him really, just touched him. So he got thrown out, and then the security guard got thrown out too for Philadelphia. And the crowd's going nuts. It's crazy.
They're cheering them on and stuff. I mean, the NFL is. I saw a report actually. The NFL is looking to punish the security guard.
Yeah, he's not supposed. He's there to keep for security for the players, I believe, from like fans and stuff. He's not supposed to be involving himself in the game.
No.
So yeah, he probably could. He could find himself in a lot of trouble there, a lot of fines. I don't know, but it was from a fan just watching it. It was fun to watch. It was crazy. After all that, the crowd's riled up. You think Philadelphia is going to come back and make this a huge game? They got the touchdown there and make it a 1-score game, and then San Francisco comes right back down and scores a touchdown, and that was it.
Yeah,
they took the crowd right out of it, and it was just over from that point.
There were actually 3 ejections on Sunday, believe it or not. We're going to point out that Greenlaw one. The Brian Burns punched a Buccaneers player.
Yes, he got thrown out too, yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco gets thrown out for punching a Green Bay player at the end of the game.
He did. I didn't see that.
You could see on the replay they got Pacheco. The camera was kind of down, but you could see Pacheco
When was it?
whack him.
What part of the game?
End of the game.
It was right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the game, but for some reason I missed that. I don't know. I must have been half asleep.
All of a sudden, I was just on my phone. I was watching them. I was like kind of just like that, and I hear the ref go, "Number 10's been disqualified." I'm like, "What did I miss?"
Crazy. It was a crazy weekend in of football in the NFL. A lot of, I don't know. And then last night you got Cincinnati and Jacksonville.
Jake Browning played really well.
I thought that was going to be a Jacksonville blowout.
Yeah, same.
And then Browning comes in there and playing like Joe Burrow. If you put number 9 instead of number 6 on him, you'd think it was Joe Burrow out there.
Yeah.
And, wow, crazy. That's the last thing that I wanted to see is Cincinnati. Now they're back in the playoff hunt. And then Jacksonville, another quarterback injury. Trevor Lawrence goes out with the same injury that Pickett has.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
It looks like an ankle sprain from initial
They
reports.
said high ankle sprain. They didn't say anything about him having surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But what's his name? Peterson, the coach, said, he's not ruled out for this week's game. He's not playing this week.
Come on, Peterson.
Come on, we're not. Yeah, he couldn't even walk.
No.
Couldn't even stand up. He had to go down to his feet.
It looked bad. He slammed his helmet. He was clearly frustrated.
When he slammed his helmet, I thought for sure it was an Achilles or an ACL, the way he acted.
Mm-hmm.
They're lucky it's just a high ankle sprain. Even the Cincinnati player,
Trey Hendrickson.
tried picking him up to get him up on his feet because
Mm-hmm.
he could tell he thought it was bad, and then he went right down, and that's too bad.
Look, it was good it was good to see Hendrickson. He not just that, he took a knee and said a quick little prayer.
Yeah, these players, you can tell that they're warriors out there. They want to get after each other, but when one of them gets hurt seriously, they have a lot of concern for each other, which is good to see. But that really changes things playoff wise for Jacksonville. If they would have won that game, they would have been the 1 seed.
Yes.
And now I don't even think they're going to win that division now.
Looks like a Houston's.
If he's going to be out a couple 3 weeks,
that's Houston's to lose.
Houston's going to win. I don't see Houston. I think Houston could run the table. They could go 11-6, or or maybe 10-7. And Jacksonville loses a couple games, that could be their division. Yeah,
It could be their playoff hopes.
Even the Colts are right there too.
Yeah.
But the Colts and Texans play each other, and I would think that the Texans would beat them.
Yeah, but you never know. It's a divisional game.
It's crazy. All these teams play each other. Now Cincinnati's in it. Cincinnati plays the Colts this coming weekend.
Really?
Yes, that's a huge game.
Oh, right. Yes, I saw that. Cincinnati does play the Colts.
And Jacksonville plays Cleveland.
Mm.
And then the following weekend, the Steelers play the Colts.
That's a big game.
There's a lot of things that are going to go. This whole playoff race, this whole playoff thing could go upside down, and then the next week it could change completely.
Well, Dad, speaking of the playoffs, we have updated standings here. Number 1, we got Miami. Number 2, Baltimore. Number 2, Baltimore. Number 3, Kansas City. And number 4, Jacksonville. And then you look at the wild cards. Steelers still stand at that top 5th seed.
I don't know how, but they're there.
6th seed is the Colts, and the 7th seed is the Cleveland Browns.
And then nipping at their heels, you have Buffalo, Denver, and
Yep, Denver and Bills are both
6-6.
Cincinnati's also 6-6.
And Cincinnati. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
that
madness.
could all change next weekend. That could all be changed. The interesting thing there is that I kind of like to see is now that Miami and Baltimore, I think, are the favorites to get the 1 seed. One of those teams. They play each other, actually, in a couple of weeks. As much as I don't like Baltimore, I'm kind of glad that maybe Kansas City is not going to have home field this year for a change. Let's see what they can do going on the road for a change instead of having all their playoff games at Arrowhead.
Right.
They've never gone on the road with Mahomes. He's always been at home. This year, that's going to change.
Now, Dad, moving on to the NFC playoffs. We've got number 1 still the Eagles, and number 2, the 49ers. Number 3 is still the Lions. Number 4, the Atlanta Falcons. Number 5, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 6, the Minnesota Vikings. Number 7, the Green Bay Packers. And on the bubble, you got the Rams, Seahawks, and I'm going to say the Buccaneers could have a chance. I mean, that division could go the Buccaneers, Saints, or Falcons. Not the Panthers, of course. But yeah.
Yeah, that whole division, who knows who's going to win that. But it could be an 8-9 team that win, or 7-10 even, wins that division.
Right.
But those top 3 teams, with San Francisco beating Philly last week, now that Philadelphia-Dallas game coming up this weekend is huge for both teams, but really for Philadelphia. Because if Philadelphia loses to Dallas, they can kiss away that number 1 seed. That's going to be San Francisco's. But if they win, they still have a shot at it. Because as long as they keep winning, they'll be a game ahead of San Francisco.
Right.
But if they lose, they're done. Because I don't know if San Francisco is going to lose another game.
I don't think they
I don't think they are. Their schedule is pretty easy. They have Seattle
this week. That's a divisional game. I mean,
that's a big game, but there's a lot of big games this weekend. Wow,
Bills and Chiefs as well.
Bills and Chiefs. That's a huge game.
I think the Bills are going to win that one.
Is it in Kansas City?
Yeah, I still think the Bills are going to win.
I think it's going to be a shootout.
Well, just like the Philadelphia game.
Yeah, I think so. Kansas City's kind of reeling. Buffalo's coming off a bye, right?
Yes.
So they're going to be rested and ready to go. And they have to win.
They're going to be hungry.
They have to win.
They're going to be hungry.
So, yeah, I could see the Bills winning that, and that could knock Kansas City down even further as far as seeding-wise. Yeah, that's great. Wow, the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever we have left is going to be crazy for the playoffs, isn't it?
Madness.
It is. That's why you love the NFL, because just when you think you got it figured out, you don't.
Any given Sunday.
Oh, it's great. I love it. Great games this weekend. Big game for the Steelers against. Oh, no, they're playing Thursday. What am I doing? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm thinking about the Colts game next week. But, yeah, it's going to be kind of nice this Sunday to just sit back and watch without having to worry about the Steelers.
Right.
Hopefully.
So we'll see how these playoff standings change this week in an absolute wild race.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks we'll have NFL on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, Dad, coming from Jags and Bengals last night, Lawrence looking in the pocket, throwing towards the end zone. Parker Washington juggled and caught. Touchdown, Jaguars.
How'd he get his feet down? What a catch off the Colts. Player deflected that. Wow, oh my God, what a play.
Daxton Hill deflected it. Look at the concentration from Washington, the rookie out of Penn State. Well, Dad, coming from Bengals and Jaguars once again, Browning taking a shot downfield. There's that man, always open, Jamar Chase. Touchdown, Bengals.
What a play from Browning to Chase. Is that the new combination in Cincinnati now?
For this season, it will be. Look at this. One-on-one coverage with Campbell, and it's just...
You can't guard him with one guy.
That's a great throw as well.
What are they doing there? The safety supposed to be over there helping out.
Well, Dad, coming from the Sunday night showdown, 4th down and 1, Jordan Love looking. He just kind of tosses one up, and Romeo Doubs makes the catch. 1st down, Packers.
How'd he find the ball? 4 Chiefs all around him, and he snuck it in there. What a play from the receiver.
And now coming up next on the 2nd down and 11 play, Love throw into the end zone. High pass, touchdown, Christian Watson.
He high points that ball over the corner. What a play from Watson. He's back.
Christian Watson getting the best of the Chiefs there. And we see a replay, you'll see how high he got up.
What a play. I thought that ball was going out of the end zone.
Here's Purdy, Dad, from the 48-yard line. Purdy looking, throwing a little dragger route. Samuel, one man can't get him. And there he goes, the blazing speed of Deebo Samuel. Darius Slay carrying him into the end zone. Touchdown, Niners.
What a play from Samuel. He put on the Jets. He should have been tackled for just a short gain, and he turns it into a 52-yard touchdown. What a play. Should have had him right there.
Morrow couldn't get him, and he was off. Slay had a chance.
What a good block there from Kittle. Tight end on Bradbury there. Oh, what a play.
Just barely crossing the plane.
He just got in. He's phenomenal.
That action from the Rams and Browns. Matthew Stafford back to throw. Over the middle. Puka Nacua, the great rookie receiver. His great season continues. 70 yards for 6.
What a play. 3 guys trying to cover him. Stafford throws a perfect ball over the heads, and Nacua is gone.
Well, Dad, Indianapolis trying to go for the 8-point lead. Oh, look who comes away with it. Amani Hooker. Hooker makes Minshew miss. Moss trying to chase him down. Hooker has 2 points. Oh, taking it all the way back on a 2-point conversion try.
You don't see that every day, do you? Backfired on the Colts there, trying to get 8-point lead and
tipped off of the line. And then Hooker was in the right place at the right time.
away he goes.
Minshew had no chance at that, and the great blocks lead to Hooker's pick 2. Our last play, Dad, the Pac-12 championship. Ducks look out of it. Nix throwing over the middle, caught. Trayshawn Holden, there he goes. Holden trying to break away, breaks off 1, breaks off 2, down the sideline, stays in bounds. Touchdown, Ducks.
What a play from a Holden. He tight ropes down the sideline to stick it in there. Gives Oregon a little last-second chance to try to tie this game up.
Look at this. What? No, not out of bounds, not out of bounds, not out of bounds, not out of bounds.
What a play.
It's out of bounds right when that football crosses the plane. Look at the tightrope ability from Trayshawn Holden. Well, Dad, that is the end of our podcast episode for today. But can't go away without predictions. So, what would you like to predict today? Upcoming NFL?
Yeah, I think we got to go NFL.
All right, we'll do Cowboys, Eagles, and Chiefs, Bills. Any other games you would like to do?
No, those are the 2 big ones. Let's do those.
Okay, so my picks, I'm going to go Dallas and AT&T, getting the best of the Philadelphia Eagles. And then I got the Bills and Arrowhead. An away upset for Buffalo.
I like your Dallas pick, and I'm going to go right there with you. I think Dallas on that fast turf down there in Arlington and Jerry World will put it to the Eagles. And as far as the Bills and Chiefs go, sorry, Bills. I got the Chiefs bouncing back. In a back-and-forth battle, Chiefs win it by 3, 31-28.
That game could go either way. Well, everyone, thank you for watching this episode of PM Sport Talk, the father and son duo podcast. Once again, I'm Preston, signing off with my father, Mike. Thank you all for watching, and have a good weekend.
Hey, if you like what you see, you can subscribe down below, and you can listen to our podcast at any time. And also, if you want to reach out to us, you can reach us at pmsporttalk@gmail.com. Also coming soon is a website. Thank you all for listening. Have a good one.